Alright guys, welcome back. I hope you're not so overwhelmed by our first lesson because here comes the next one. Again, it's important to let you know that we're not going to teach you intonation, grammar, vocabulary, or anything like that because we basically assume you've already had a pretty good grasp of all those above through your hard working at school or wherever. And also, it's crucial, like if you want to use this kind of local style language, it's crucial not to mess up with the intonation. You know what? Because when you try to use this kind of language with your, native Chinese friends, it's surprising enough that you have this kind of knowledge and not to mention like how to use them. So whenever you say this kind of idioms that you learn from our videos, your Chinese friend are probably just gonna give you this holy shit look and double check with you by saying 你说什么? Which means, what the heck did you say? Don't worry, if they gave you this kind of face, it means you probably have got your meanings crossed perfectly and they're just too surprised to see the reality here, and just keep trying and you will be more Chinese than you can ever imagine. Okay, now today we're going to teach you a 句 useful pattern of verb phrase. Suppose if your friend asks you whether you want to go to the gym with him or her by saying 去 gym 吗? So note, 去 is the verb here and gym is the noun here. So how would you respond? 去? Yeah? 不去? No? Nah, those are too plain. Let's spice it up with a much cooler verb phrase. So what you can say is 去个毛. You basically insert this two little thing between the verb 去 and the noun gym. But what does this mean anyway? This means, hell no, I don't want to go. I don't care enough to go to the stupid gym with you. It's not literally overtly spoken, but you've expressed those meanings just simply by saying this. Now let's give you another example. If your friend, the same one, the stupid one, asks you whether you want to do homework with him or her, 一起写作业吗? Which means, do you want to go and do homework together? What would you say? So note, 写 is the verb here, or 做 do, right? Those are the verb here in this sentence, and 作业 is the noun, homework. So 写作业吗? What can you say? 写个毛作业? Which means, hell no, I don't want to do this stupid homework, or I don't even care enough to do homework. And by inserting 个 and 毛, these two little magic things, into this verb phrase, you perfectly expressed that you despise homework and you won't bother to do it, and your friend probably shouldn't do it as well. So, I hope you've already got the context, and let's get down to more examples and practices, of course. Well, first of all, let's take a look at a couple of new phrases. Here, 吃个毛饭, 吃个毛饭, which means I don't care enough to eat. 睡个毛觉, I don't care enough to sleep. 看个毛电视, I don't care enough to watch the stupid television. But why is this one in orange? Because someone fake is going on here. By inserting these two little things into the between the verb 看 and the noun 电视, you expressed the meaning that I don't care enough to look at something. However, you can also use this phrase against other people, especially when someone's staring at you and it makes you really uncomfortable. So what you can say is 看个毛. 看个毛, what does this mean? This simply means, if you're saying this to someone else, it means, what the hell are you looking at? And It can be pretty defensive, depending on how dramatic you're willing to go. So let me give you a few examples. Suppose if you say 看个毛,看个毛, in a pretty, light way, then it just simply means go away, don't look at me, don't make such a scene, and like that. But if you raise your voice and with the help of some gestures by pointing at someone, 你看个毛啊! You're expressing you're angry. And basically what you're implying or saying here is, what the heck are you looking at? You're idiot. And it can be pretty dramatic, and just keep trying and we will see how far you can go with it. However, another thing that worth mentioning is that this little magic trick does not work well with past tense, which means if you cannot apply it if your friend asks you about something that happened in the past or a past action, nor could you apply it to describe something that you've done in the past, regardless of how much less you care about it. Okay, we know you don't really get the meaning of 个毛 and how the heck does those two words come into being and what are those grammatical rules working behind this. But it's not important as long as you can use them, and we don't really care anyway. But if you're still curious, then you can just go ahead and ask your Mandarin teacher, but just be careful because you're probably gonna get slapped. I'm just kidding. Because, theoretically speaking, you're not supposed to use this kind of, casual words with people that you should pay respect. Suppose your parents, your teachers, older generation, because sometimes they get fuzzy. Because the more colloquial it gets, the less polite it sounds. So just use with caution and be responsible for yourself. Okay, but 算个毛. Because if you don't care enough to live such an institutionalized life that requires you to be polite, just don't let the language become your barrier and go ahead and use them. Okay, now let's call it a day, and I hope you're learning and improving. See you next time.